Welcome back, my Jedi friends. And then today I decided to go all topical. And since the whole Trump and Zelensky meeting is all in the news, or has been in the news, or people are still talking about it, let's talk about energy perspective here. Energy perspective. So I'm not here to show you the video. The odds are you've seen it. So this is just my perspective as somebody that just reads energy. Now, what did I see there? What did I see from an energy perspective? Well, I saw Donald Trump sitting down in his own power in his own house. Pretty much that's how it was. And I saw a very agitated Zelensky there. Now, yes, the news has its angle at it that Trump was out of order. It was terrible what he did. He wouldn't fund a genocidal, ridiculous war. It's a ridiculous war. A ridiculous war against the Russians. What are we going to do? Start conscripting people. Here's my personal opinion on it all, that all of the people that think that the war should continue should conscript themselves and get to the front line, my Jedi friends. So, from an energy point of view, wars are bad. Peace is good. Now, peace under any circumstances is better than war under any circumstances, in my personal opinion. So that's just my, I'll put my hand up and tell you where I stand on these things, folks, where I stand on these things. I realize that certain wars are going to rage on and justifiably, blah, blah, blah. I'm not here to judge war, or maybe just a little bit. I would rather not fight. I'd rather not. I'd rather people weren't killing each other, folks. So the reasons behind the war, well, everybody can speculate. But ultimately, who's right and who's wrong? Well, here's some facts that I absolutely know. So NATO sort of broke their deal, and they've been encroaching on territory that was against an agreement that was made, and Russia has responded. Now, poor Ukrainians caught in the middle. My sympathy to everybody involved in this war. I'm not here to pour scorn on the brave people that are fighting at the front line. I mean, this is not for me to judge the people that are fighting on the front line on both sides. Anyone that's going to put their lives on the line, kudos to them. But this is purely about the energy that Trump and Zelensky had. And what you saw was a very agitated Zelensky with a very fixed agenda that has obviously been the agenda of the previous American administration. It's clear that Biden was very invested in that war going and very invested in funding it, and Trump isn't. And that is what you're dealing with there. You're dealing with two polar opposite views that whether you like Trump or not, his it's difficult to argue with what he's saying is that I just want to stop the killing right now. It's better to be talking and negotiating a peace than it is to perpetuate a war, an unwinnable war, folks. It is an unwinnable war because Russia's a very big place and there's lots of people there and it could escalate and World War III, we all lose. We all lose, folks. We all lose. So what did I see with the energy of Zelensky and Trump? I saw two people that were absolutely fixed in their opinion before they went in. And Trump was very firm about that. And Zelensky was very agitated and was treating Trump as though he had something to do with Biden when the two are on complete opposite sides of the spectrum. And you can't blame JD Vance for having his time in the sun and pretty much preaching what a lot of people believe. So I realize that these are very polarizing times that we're in, and people have very fixed opinions one way or the other. I'm not here to fix an opinion, although I have given my own opinion away. I prefer peace every day of the week, folks. Some people you're never going to get that with. But in this case, I believe that there is a peace to be brokered at whatever price, because all I can see is escalation here. Can only see escalation. Let's face it, North Korea have sort of rumbled in. You never know when China's going to pipe in and justifiably and do whatever they're going to do. And you can just see it kicking off, folks. And here we are talking about conscripting people, and I can tell you there would be absolute anarchy in the UK if they tried to conscript people for that conflict that Keir Starmer seems to want to get involved in, but I'm not sure that he represents the voice of the people. In fact, at this stage, I'm pretty sure he doesn't, folks. But again, I could get in trouble for saying things like that. Whoops, did I just say that? Whoops, sorry, Keir. I'm just saying it as it is, as it is. Put a vote out to the UK population and see what they think if you want to prove me wrong. But proving wrong has got nothing to do with it in this day and age, folks, because if you're in power, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Your opinion is right. And anyone that dissents is malinformation. So there you go. That's how it works. That is the lack of free speech that we all have these days. So there you go, folks. That's where we're at. So from an energy perspective, that's what happens when two people go in and they're already fixed in their point of view. I saw Zelensky get very agitated, and I saw Trump treat him like a naughty schoolboy, because Zelensky was not prepared to talk about peace, and Trump was not prepared to continue a war or have anything to do with it, especially when it's the other side of the world. Why should he? Now, just because his predecessor got them into it doesn't mean that he has to carry the can for that. So, folks, from that energy perspective, that is what happens when two people go in with a fixed mindset and no wiggle room. No wiggle room. And that is energetically how that plays out. And you will see it perfectly in that instance. Except in this case, Trump had all the leverage. There it is again, folks. He had all of the leverage, and there was no halfway house within that debate. Now, a lot will say, arguably, that should have happened behind closed doors. That should not have been a public spectacle. This I absolutely agree with. This was a principle even from senior nurse management back in the day. If I had an issue with someone, I take them one on one in a room where no one sees what happens. Because the thing is, if you humiliate someone publicly, then that's a zero-sum game as well. Because you'll never get them fully on board, although Trump probably feels that he's never going to need Zelensky on board. So who knows, folks? That's the power play. That's how it pans out. And that's the energy perspective on that little meeting. Be very interested to know your thoughts on the subject. As I say, I'm just here to comment on this from an energy perspective, how we show up energetically, folks. And it's all in our physiology, it's in our tonality, it's in how we show up. So let's contrast it. If you show up like this, or you're a little bit like this, then people are going to judge you differently. And here's something. I saw a study, well, not a study, but somebody commenting on this week that they took a lot of ex-criminals from the prison system, and they showed footage of people just walking down the road. And they asked them, which ones would you decide to hustle if this was a prison situation? And every single one of the ex-criminals picked the same people. It's how we show up. It's how we walk. It's how we talk. It's our energy, folks. And you don't need to be a Reiki master or in the energy world to understand that. That some people just project a powerful presence and other people don't. And in that particular meeting, Trump was powerful and Zelensky wasn't. So there you go, folks. It's that simple from an energy perspective. You've got to hold yourself, you've got to carry yourself, and that's where it's all at. So that's my little ramble, folks, on the Trump Zelensky meeting. Since everyone else is talking about it, well, I may as well jump in, might I, and just throw a bit of energy in there. But either way, however you sit or stand on that one, may your own energy be better, or may you learn from this situation, because you never know when you'll be thrust into a power dynamic and how the energy exchange is going to affect you. So there you go, my Jedi friends. And if you want more of my little rambles, then please do like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want another one of my little videos, you will find it just there.